Good evening, all you beautiful bastards. It is I, the lovely and talented Elder God Bones, joined by the lovely and amazing Seal.
Hello there.
Hello.
How are all of you beautiful people doing tonight?
I'm doing wonderful.
Most excellent, most excellent.
Right.
All right, putting something away.
I love the fact that my side monitor for this is turned into a LED light basically, and then I have another one.
Right?
And then I have two more directly above me. I have
Just a moment.
great lighting.
So,
You got nauseous. Well, bitch, fucking sit and spin on it. Oh shit, Smata, I was supposed to take pictures for you. Fuck. I was supposed to take pictures of the prince because he asked for them. I completely forgot.
long-term thing we have going along. I know he was talking right to me.
You're used to being disappointed by you now. Well, I need to turn that crown upside down. Have a reflection now.
I need to turn that frown inside out. You want to know how I got these scars?
No. Just no.
My brother is really bad at skipping rocks.
Into your mouth?
No, into my face. I have two different scars on my face from when my brother tried to skip rocks when we were little. One on my forehead and one on my cheek.
How the fuck do you skip rocks into someone's face?
My brother's oblivious and always has been. He just went and threw and didn't pay attention.
Oh, so you were in the water when that happened?
I don't know if I was in the water or just down the hill, but I was in front of him when he went to throw it. These happen.
You're supposed to be standing by the water, though.
These are when I was less than 4, actually. It was before we moved into this house. So it was somewhere. I was somewhere between ages 1 and 4 when it happened. I don't remember it actually happening, but I have memories before and after.
Well, maybe that's because you
child
were,
memory,
you were knocked the fuck out.
And then I think either it's the one on my nose and the one on my forehead are from my brother, or the one on my cheek and forehead are from my brother. The other one is from where there was a really mean kid in daycare, and he beat the shit out of me with a wooden train track.
Bitch, you stole my ho-hos.
Look, you can do some damage with a wooden train track.
You can do damage with a piece of wood, period.
Yeah.
Do damage with
You know the wooden puzzle piece train tracks I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, no, I get it.
They had sharp ass edges.
Yeah,
already.
well, yeah, because they were they came to blunt edges. They were still a little rounded, but it's still a solid.
Oh no, the edges where they went to go, some of them were not very well rounded.
Well, yeah, I say rounded very loosely.
You gotta remember, toys in the 80s and 90s were not safe for anyone.
Yes. They still rounded off so they didn't splinter, but they weren't chamfered. They were basically you zipped it around the edge of a belt sander for 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's just that's good.
Yeah, that's fine.
But you also got to consider this was a play school or a daycare.
Not safe for manufacture.
This was a daycare train track, so it could have been splintering. It could have been sharp. That happened all the time. I know, every single one I had at home when I was a child ended up wearing sharp.
Hey, Tammy's.
Hey, Tammy's, good to see ya.
Coming in with the twerking panda. Yeah.
Oh man, guys, we have something fun happening today.
Yeah, this is so.
I closed out my Chrome tabs.
You idiot.
I mean, I have save state on all my browsers, so like it came right back up.
Oh, so finally got my my psoriasis drugs today, and I finally took them, but so I got a whole month's supply all at once. Yeah, that bitch cost 26 grand. $26,000 fucking dollars for 8 shots.
Free or post insurance?
Free. I had mine with insurance. It was a zero copay. Yeah. But still,
insurance. Man, it's frustrating whenever they fuck you over sideways without lube, because they'll do that every chance they get. But man, sometimes it's nice to have insurance, not have to pay for your medicine. I walk in, I say, "Hi, this is my name," and they're like, "Hey, here's your medicine. Sign for it."
Here's like, your drugs. Dude, it was a fucking debacle too. It was going back and forth between my insurance provider and CVS specialty pharmacy, and basically arguing with them.
You went to Consumer Value Store?
Yes.
Corner of happy and healthy?
I mean, at least it's not insulin. You're right. Thankfully, knock on wood, I do not have to take insulin.
My buddies have ended up, because of like how dog shit insurance is for insulin, they have ended up just buying a year's supply direct from manufacturer every year because it's cheaper than going through insurance. So just place a bulk order.
Crazy.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
I remember a while ago they were like panicking because there's like, man, we found this pump. It was great. It interlinked to everything with his blood sugar. It automatically did dosages and everything. And then we had to switch because a lawsuit came out that a firmware update bricked it and didn't give the medicine like it was supposed to someone, and they died. It's like, yes, a big mistake. I understand. And they were just like, we don't want to risk it. We'd rather just go back to a manual pump where you have to set the dosage yourself and everything.
Yeah. It happens. I mean, it sucks. It's a terrible thing to have happen.
It really does. Unfortunately, I don't want to make light of this because it's awful. It never should have happened. Unfortunately, with certain things, it can pass labs with flying colors, but then a bug won't get discovered until that 1 in a million thing.
Yep. And that's all it takes is 1 in a million.
And it's truly awful.
Yeah. It really is. Because you can attribute that to beta testing. The part of the reason why game developers beta test is because a developer can't have 8 billion different builds.
Yeah.
So you beta test it and you shotgun it to to as many people as you can, and you bug test it from there.
Right. And
even then, that's still not a foolproof plan.
No, it's not.
Launch day patches.
What can go wrong will go.
Yes, absolutely.
But still, it's sad that that's how bug finding has come about.
That's the thing. Bug finding has always been. It's just that with the ads,
it's a bit different when you bug find and it's a video game, and you bug find and it's your spouse dead next to you.
I mean, I get that. I understand.
It sucks that that's how they found the bug. It sucks that bug finding in the medical field can be that messy.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, bug finding in the automotive world can be the exact same.
This is true.
It is
in a lot of industries. It can.
In pretty much all industries, it is that way. You basically, you can only account for like 99.9% of all issues.
Really, the only one is like digital entertainment area, like software wise, because I don't know too many people that have died of bug in a video game.
No, but
actually.
I mean is
Now the bug in the graphics card where they set on fire. Thanks 4090. That one.
or the overheating thermal connectors with the what is it? Well, the AMDs. I mean, they both had issues, but that's
yeah. Oh yeah, I'm not saying that they didn't, but hard frying itself, house catching on fire. There's a difference between the blue smoke and house smoke.
Yes, there is.
Just like the same thing with the Samsung Note 7s. They didn't know that was going to happen until it happened, and now fucking everybody tries to buy their batteries from Samsung because they're stupid safe now.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, even until the S22 area, I heard people with iPhones saying, I don't know, I don't want it to explode on me. And no, just bring up, you know that your iPhone has a Samsung battery in it, right? Like, just so we're clear here, like you're aware it uses Samsung cells. Okay, cool.
I think it's funny being as someone who used iPhone and honestly stating that it's a phone that just works.
Most of the time.
But for what it works. Right. For what it needs to do, it doesn't fail. 10 out of 10 times, it's always going to make a phone call. It's always going to send a text message to another iPhone.
That's where I'm going to disagree with you. Working in the cell phone industry, I see all kinds of iPhones that won't make calls.
Sure.
All kinds of stuff. And granted, it's normally fixed by a simple reboot, but still, it seems to me like Android, you're going to have a lot of issues here and here. iPhone, you're not going to have as many issues, but when you do, they're like all the way up here.
Yeah, but is the issue more user error? Because 90% of all problems are fixed with a restart as it is anyways. And if you're not intelligent enough to know to reboot your phone or how to reboot your phone.
Okay. Look, I'll agree with you there. But here's the problem. Around the same time all these manufacturers stopped including little quick start guides is around the same time Apple decided to change how to hard reset an iPhone. So volume up, volume down, hold side button. Most people don't know how to hard reset their iPhones anymore because you have to do volume up, volume down, power button. You can't hold all three anymore. It won't do it.
Last my iPhone and even this phone is power button or volume down on power button.
Yes.
But also that's also screenshot as well
10?
too.
It's either the 10 or 11 that started it. But one of the iOS updates changed it to where it was volume up, volume down, hold power button.
Okay.
On all iPhones.
Do you know how you could easily find out how to do that?
Googling it. But hear me out here. The world is becoming less and less on computers and everything being on phones for most of the common people.
If your phone is working and you're trying to figure out how to restart it.
Okay. If you can't use the display on your phone because it's frozen and it happens all the fucking time, you can't really fucking Google shit when the app that controls your touch fucking freezes.
Okay. So this is going to be kind of a shot here, but what's the likelihood of them only having one device?
It's not likely.
There you go.
But that's what I'm saying though. And the same thing of they only provided the the 11 Pro and Pro Max with the USB-C block and then removed them entirely
and made it but Samsung did the same thing.
But Samsung also had 3 generations where they provided a USB-C block.
How are they calling that? So surprisingly,
I work in a brick and mortar location, so they call by walking in the door.
What was I gonna say? Speaking of calling, Apple phones, so their support is actually decent.
It is sometimes.
You will always have a bad Apple. Don't get me wrong. But
look, it's going to be different because we've had wildly different experience.
I've had both.
I've had to call Apple probably infinitely more times than you've had.
Oh, sweet mother of Jesus, yeah.
So it's probably a little bit different when you're actually doing it. But like I said, like working in it, it's gotten a lot better. I will give them that. It has gotten a lot better. But there are still some bugs that continue to stick around because it's linked to your iPhone's backup, like your iCloud. Like some of those bugs exist, and the only way to get rid of them is to completely delete all of your iCloud backup,
which most people don't want to do.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like Android, it'll have little bugs here and here, but when Apple has a bug, it's way up here. It's not as often. It's not as often.
So, it is worth mentioning that Apple's ecosystem thinks significantly better than Android PC, because your iPhone can sync with all Apple products. Apple products.
I will say, depending on what, like the Google Cloud Service, a lot of that does sync really well, and you can do the Microsoft Phone link, which I think Zen uses.
Yes, but the thing is there are ways to make it work. This is out of the box working. There's a significant difference between having to set something up
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Swipe up and it's on your Apple TV because it automatically syncs to every known Apple device, as long as you're meeting the requirements for
I don't disagree, but my counterpoint there is going to be Chromecast for Apple TV.
Sure.
Chromecast has gotten amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But also, I mean, with that native layered compatibility comes the price.
Yes, I won't disagree with that. I mean, there's a lot of people that hate, like I work with a guy who fucking hates Apple, but he's so deep into their whole house into automation that he can't financially justify dropping 15 grand on converting to an Android based house.
It has gotten better. It has gotten a lot better. My buddies, I will say they are a fully Apple automated home. But they went through Google, then they went to Alexa, and then they went to Apple. And a lot of it just ended up being that their work computers were Apple.
Yeah, it ends up being that.
Yeah. I will say it does work well, but also when I was there, even without me having the Alexa apps on my phone, I mean, sure, there were some things I couldn't do directly from my phone, but I mean, Alexa and Google play fairly nice together. Not as well as Alexa and Apple, but and Zen switched to Alexa, but no, like I mean, there's definitely different challenges. Apple is a lot more plug and play,
very much so.
But there's a lot more tools to the user from the likes of Amazon. The Amazon and Google.
Sure, absolutely. And if you're willing or have the knowledge to know how, you have the capability to do a lot more. I'm trying to remember.
Absolutely.
There was a guy that did.
Hold on.
No, I'm not. No, this is the.
I just want to put something in here. It's still on the conversation. I will say something really cool is that the new Google Nest Wi-Fi's, some of the access points you can buy with Google Home built in to the router access point. That's kind of cool, especially if you're using a mesh router system. If you can just make all your mesh points also be Google Homes, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole slew of other issues. We got to do
as soon as if the network goes off, as soon as it comes back on and reconnects to all the access points and meshes back up, your Google Assistant's on. There is some nice stuff.
I'm trying to remember if it was, I can't remember now if it was Apple or Google that did this. There was a guy that voice commanded the dispensing of water down to the milliliter.
Yeah.
So like, but I can't remember. I was watching it on YouTube. I mean, I gotta take a quick second to look it up, but um, I can't remember if
I
it was.
I had custom commands for turning on and off my PC for a while.
But I mean, though, this was down to the point of it was. I now think it was Android. It was, hey Google, I need 2 cups of cold water, and it would turn on the faucet for a predetermined amount of time, because what he did is he measured how long it took it to dispense a gallon,
Oh, absolutely.
and then was able to time it for everything else, so he can just take and he took RFID tags that have a command built into them and just boop, and then it just dispenses the perfect amount of water, and he doesn't have to worry about it.
Oh yeah, there's some amazing things.
Like, that shit's super fucking cool, but that's opening up some massive security holes.
Oh, it absolutely is.
And I got into a topic with one of my coworkers,
which is why my computer's not set to turn on and off through home anymore.
Yeah. We were talking about AI and everything, and he has his cousin and his cousin got invited to it's a 3-day seminar in Vegas, and it's hosted by Elon Musk, Microsoft, and Apple, and Samsung. And it's all about AI and AI,
Absolutely.
explicitly AI home integration. And he was like, yeah, and his cousin's bringing him along, so he's going to. And his cousin knows Elon, like, personally.
Yeah.
Like, it's this dude, he's 22, and he's had MIT published articles and stuff of that nature. He knows his shit when it comes to AI. He's basically riding the bleeding edge of technology when it comes to that. And my coworker was saying, he's like, AI's fucking scary. It's super cool, but if people knew how powerful and how easily it can fuck your life up if you piss someone off that knows what they're doing, because you'll be deep faked, and guess what? There's nothing you're gonna be able to do, because it'll buy, like, he was saying that he showed him that he deep faked himself and then unlocked his iPhone with the deep fake.
Oh.
Like, that's scary when you think about it.
It's terrifying how it's gotten. But...
Yeah, we have no idea what security is, in all honesty. But either way, moving on.
It's interesting, but it also just goes to give a little more merit to be nice to everyone.
Yeah, you never know who's gonna know what to do that's going to make your life a living hell, and it could be to the point where it doesn't matter if
everybody's cornflakes. It's only a matter of time before someone throws a Molotov cocktail in yours.
Yeah, and that could be something where you're deep faked into something that puts you behind bars, and it doesn't matter what you do or say. You can't prove that it's not you.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's a scary world.
It's petrifying.
It has potential to do great things if used properly.
Will Cosmo Voyage start before half? Yes, actually, it's starting now.
Who said that?
The prediction.
Oh. Alrighty. Well, with that, it's time for some bullshit.
You're gonna love it. It's time for Cosmo Voyage.
Bum, 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 bum. We get those in sync normally. Ish. To us. Alright, when we last left our dumbass, he found a graveyard of ships lost throughout time, and more appeared as he was exploring and investigating them. One of which being the Mirage, a ship that famously went missing with a bunch of high-profile passengers on it. When they found it, they found one survivor from 12 years before, and no time had passed for her.
No, not no time. It was like 8 hours.
I mean, no time had passed for her. It was right after the incident. Like,
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, no time had passed for her. She was still stuck 12 years ago.
On the other side of known space.
On the other
too.
side of known space, yes. And she was the niece of someone on the board of directors for the SIA. So you know they were looking for them and put every resource they had.
Yeah.
Now, when they finished, they started on the repair project, getting the Mirage up and running enough to be able to bring it back to Earth. That's where we continue with the ship being repaired.
No, I thought it was the ship was repaired enough to move under its own power because we were able to.
Yeah,
it was.
That's what I was saying. Like when we last left, you all were repairing it, and we're coming back to it being repaired.
Yes, and
I mean it happened, but like that's where we're at.
Well, because the ship started moving under its own power, and you said the last thing that you talked about before we raided out was that 2 more ships had warped into this.
That was why you all were investigating all the others. I believe.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I know that there were some that appeared when you all were investigating, and there may have been a couple that appeared as you were leaving. There's a good chance that did happen, so we'll say it did. So the 2 more ships appear as you all are starting to head back towards Earth with the Mirage.
You know what? What I'm gonna do is because the likelihood of anything going wrong between now and getting back to Earth, that ship's running on a skeleton crew of mine, and I'm leaving with them, and I'm gonna leave I'm gonna have 10 people board on 2 landing crafts and act as escort for
the landing crafts won't be able to keep up when you travel back to Earth because of the hyperspeed. They can't do like the warp speed.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't assume that a slightly repaired, limping along cruise ship would be able to either.
I mean, you all had to patch up the holes and everything like that, so.
Yeah, I was just patched it up to make it move under its own power. Now, granted, I could use.
If you're not using warp speed, then the journey for you getting back to Earth would not finish until after the entire campaign is over and Quirk is long gone and dead. You are light years away. If you're not using warp speed, you're never getting home.
You're right. Because I mean, at the end, because since we had damaged reactors, could totally just use my ship to jumpstart it and bypass the need for the reactor. So that makes sense. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah, no, you all were rebuilding the reactors so that it could work. That was my assumption, at least. If you want to spend the rest of Quirk's life escorting a ship and to make no coverage distance at all, you would have saved time by just completely restoring it back to original shape.
No, I'm trying to think, because I want to investigate.
Your dry dock was big enough for the Mirage.
I know, right?
You are not aware of any that are actually big enough for a dry dock for the Mirage. You're not 100% sure if Cashin's Fist would be able to dry dock it. You got to think the Mirage is not much smaller than like it's a big ship. And you also got to think the only time that you saw a ship dry dock to Cashin's Fist, it was itty bitty tiny.
Yeah, it was my old ship.
Yeah. Twice.
I can't decide if.
Yes, twice.
Because I want to take the time to be able to investigate the new ships that have warped in.
But also, you could just keep getting stuck in a cycle of every time you go to leave, more and more show up.
True, but the counter to that is what happens if one of them warps in and there's signs of life.
You were given a prime directive to get name again. It was, I think it was Allison Jensen, Allison Reynolds. I don't remember who it was, but the niece. They did tell you that your prime directive was to get her back.
That is true. That is true. That is very valid. You mean Lila Jensen?
No, her niece. I think it was Allison Jensen.
Yes, Allison is the niece. Lila is.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, then never mind. Yeah, that's right. It's imperative. No. Cool. Never mind. Let's warp back to Jupe Jupe.
Jupe Jupe.
Because I can't bring my ship back to Earth.
That is true. So are you going to go to one of the Jupiter black sites?
Yes.
Because the big thing is the way the space stations work with their cloaking, it can extend to black site ships.
Yes.
Because they have more cloaking devices.
Yes. Well, and then that's I don't want to risk getting any closer just due to the potential of being seen.
Yes.
I don't feel comfortable getting closer than Jupe Jupe.
That's fair. So I'm going to time skip a little bit. It does take you all about 12 days with the, we'll say, weakened state of the Mirage.
Yeah, but say because I have to escort it, meaning I can't travel at full speed.
When you get back, the Prestige is there waiting for you. So you and the Prestige will be escorting it back. So you're going to go on the Prestige, and the Prestige will escort the Mirage back.
What? Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
You're going to be a guest on the...
yes.
They felt like you were probably familiar with its layout.
You think?
It is weird that you're staying in a guest cabin this time, though.
Yeah. Neat, though.
Yeah. So yeah, you get to the black site, they cloak you, and the Prestige is there waiting for you. You've been...
Good night, Smata.
Good night, Smata. Thank you so much. They did message you ahead, like, hey, obviously, you're going towards the Titan black, or one of the Jupiter black sites. We'll say it's the one on Titan. Why not?
Yeah.
You're going to the Titan black site. That's just the first moon that came to mind.
Oh yeah, I gotta end the prediction. Hey.
But you're told that, hey, you'll be boarding the Prestige as a passenger to bring back. The crew's still not fully fleshed out. They're still adding some more people in, but they do have a skeleton crew, bridge crew.
I mean, and it's not like I can't just grab people from... it's not like part of my crew didn't live on that ship for a few years.
Yeah.
Need people. I can just be like, oh, hey.
There is one person that does not want to go back on the Prestige. Huge Reg does not want to go on the Prestige.
That's understandable. Well, because he's now too big for the ship, isn't he?
He's inching it, like...
Yeah, like it's...
At this point, it's getting close to the height and weight rather than just height.
Hey, prediction result is yes.
Ooh, climb your biddies. So yeah. Who you taking with you? Obviously, you're taking Allison. Jensen.
Pact Card. Lyson. Holston and Sprocket. And nah, I don't need Jensen.
All right, give me just a moment here.
Smata has 90,000 biddies. Or, I'm sorry, Socio points, not biddies. My bad. I'm sorry. I won 40. Because I have 78,000. Jesus.
Give me just a moment here.
Because, yeah, this should, quote unquote, be a fairly uneventful thing. I'm just escorting a ship back to the blue ball. Quote unquote. Let's see what happens.
So let me get the new captain in there. So you, well, you get to the space station. Are you heading towards the siege now?
Yeah, Prime Directive is getting her back, so.
So the Prestige is now helmed by Captain Teresa Elk. And I messaged that to you, by the way.
Ah, okay.
Teresa Elk. I'll edit that so that it says.
Yeah. You captain of the Prestige.
The Trivago. All right. So, Teresa introduces herself to you. She goes, "Hello there, Commander Quirk. I'm Captain Teresa Elk. Glad to have you aboard my ship." And she just starts spouting off like schedule. She's like, breakfast is at between this time and this time, lunch between this time and this time, dinner's between this time and this time. I know you won't be on here long, but we're planning on making the scenic entrance.
Understandably so, and it's weird hearing that it's your ship. I know that it is your ship, but apologies. Pleasure to meet you, Captain L.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Commander Quirk. I know that you run a pretty loose crew. I plan to run a loose-ish crew, but I plan to be a bit more by the rules than you. Just make you aware. I would appreciate it if you could follow that best you can while you're on board.
Absolutely. I'm here as a guest. I'm not here in any official capacity per se.
Except for the orders that you have to be here on an official capacity. Understood.
Yes, but I'm here as the official capacity because I can't just take that to Earth.
Sure does. I'm aware, and I look forward to consulting with you in the future.
Yeah.
I just figured I'd let you know,
Thank you. No, I
Raised
absolutely.
military, plan on keeping that. Going to be a bit more relaxed since you are kind of above me in chain of command. It's kind of weird. I somewhat report to you.
Yeah, somewhat.
You run like that. Shit.
Yeah. It's more of I'm wanting to be there to bounce ideas off of if you don't know what to do, because I've kind of been there.
Absolutely. And I appreciate that and look forward to working with you once you get my ship fully crewed.
Yeah. And as you can see, I brought a Commander Pact card Commander Lyson, Commander Paulston, and Captain Sprocket with me just to kind of help alleviate any gaps we may have, since every single one of them are intimately familiar with the vessel.
Absolutely. And I appreciate learning everything that I can from them in our short time. Who all did you bring again? Pact Card.
Pact Card, Lyson, Paulston, and Sprocket.
Gotcha. Lyson's. Paulston. What are the ones I was missing?
Yeah. Lyson's kind of a no-brainer.
He's your new huge Reg.
Sort of. I mean, kind of, sort of, yeah. Part of me wants to...
He's your closed quarters battle buddy, almost.
Yeah. I, like, partially wanted to bring Trimus, but I don't feel like that's a good idea.
No, probably not.
Thought crossed my mind, like, it would be hilarious to have a giant mechanical being.
Trimus has just been kind of hanging out in engineering in Minkle's lab, just learning, observing.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure that there's a whole lot of stuff that well, I mean, I guess it wouldn't necessarily take long for him to get caught up or to learn, but...
Yes. Just observing different culture and like, oh, you all do it this way. That's different. I can see why you do it that way. Have you considered this way? And like just bringing conversation to it.
Mm-hmm.
He's fitting in fairly well.
Need to go do rounds and check in on everyone too, but it's just been kind of...
It's hard to check in on 22,000 people regularly.
I mean, yes. It was a little easier with 751 and a half.
Yeah. Give me a second. I'm editing the.
I'm watching you do that. I've been tempted to type just to fuck with you.
Fair, but and Trimus obviously knows about Lyson's abilities because he's seen them first.
Yes. He wouldn't. No, wait a minute. Is Trimus? No, Trimus is not. Never mind.
What?
Did we ever? There was. No, Trimus is the only one that actually has a name of the Centrus.
Yeah. And they did that because he's liaison.
Yes.
With you, so they're like, fuck, Trimus. All right, so
like freaking Sonic.
Do you want me to just skip to when you all are going? Is there anything in particular you want to do while on the Prestige?
No, I'm fairly intimate with the ship, and I don't really need to go explore it.
Yeah, you know what's there, and
Yes.
You've got it better on the Leviathan.
Yeah.
So you all make your all's way back. It takes about a day and a half. Basically what they do is they get you all to pull over the SIA space elevator right around the time that the most people would be outside to be able to look up and see it. And of course it was announced, so like, hey, we're doing this when most of you all can see it.
There's a thing that's going to appear in the air. You should be there to see it.
Absolutely.
It'll be there in 12 minutes.
So you all get there, and there's like these specialty ships, like they're at the space elevator docking station, ready to help take the Mirage down to Earth, be memorialized.
Sure.
It's going to be studied, and then they'll refurbish it for the most part, and they'll memorialize it. and use it as a memorial for not only the Mirage but all the other ships found in that graveyard.
I wouldn't be surprised if it gets turned into a motel.
Not plans for it currently. But yeah, the plan is to turn it into like a memorial for that ship graveyard, and like even though each of the missing ships has their own little memorials, doing a memorial for the found lost ships.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least the ones that are found, having this shit done to them.
Yes.
The related found ships, I guess I should say.
Still curious as to what caused the damage.
Absolutely. Everyone is. That's why they're going to study it, and it's easier to just bring it down to Earth since they're going to plan on doing the memorial too. Since they're going to, you know, refurbish it to mostly back to original state, other than, you know, giant hole in it.
Sorry, I'm skipping this song.
Yeah, go ahead. But they figured that the easiest way to investigate every corner is while they're fixing or refurbishing every corner, other than again, the giant hole in it.
Doing it in Atmo so they don't have to worry about anything.
They don't have to worry about falling to the planet accidentally, just going ahead and having it on ground.
Yep.
It's something they normally only do when they're planning to scrap a ship.
But
that's been heavily damaged. But
yeah.
This is a different thing because, you know, this is a big deal.
Yes.
Everyone remembers where they were when the Mirage went missing.
Yes.
So yeah, you all get in there. You all take the space elevator down, and like the specialized ships, they're synced with the space elevator. That's just how it goes. They expect that the ground crew will want to stay near it, the crew that's working on it.
Well, yeah, they want to keep eyes on it.
Exactly. So they just keep it. Those ships are kind of laterally synced with the space elevator.
It's got to be slow as dog piss.
Oh, it absolutely is. It's way slower than a normal space elevator ride. But a lot of that is so if something happens, they can take the emergency exit out and try and prevent a ship from landing in the middle of a city.
Well, yeah. Well, because they don't... You're going in Atmo. You're wanting to prevent, you know, the melting that happens of metal when you...
Oh, absolutely. They kind of do like a gravity lock to the space elevator. Kind of. It's very weird. Ooga booga space science.
You gotta think, so question about the space elevator. Is the space elevator in geosynchronous orbit, or is it...
It's geosynchronous.
Jesus fuck, that's 25,000 miles off the planet, off the surface of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
About 23,400.
There is a receiving dry dock near the base of the space elevator.
Going at a speed in which you could enter the atmosphere and not cause thermal damage or reduce the amount of thermal damage. You're traveling like you couldn't walk it, but
yeah,
hours.
It takes a long time. This doesn't happen very often, and normally when it does, it happens at a different space elevator that is more specifically made for this.
Yeah.
But there's generally a bit more pageantry whenever it's a major ship.
Yeah, this is
like if the fist ever came down, it would come down with that.
Yes.
Or the Leviathan, like anything like that. The Hertz didn't. The Hertz just went to another dry dock on a different planet because it was closer and it was a fucking wreck.
Yes.
Like, fuck, it was very, very well not salvageable.
No.
And no offense, but you were kind of a no-name back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no one had really heard of the Hertz then.
They sure as hell know of freaking Trivago, that's for sure.
Yep, they do know of the Trivago. But yeah, they it takes you all about 6 hours to get down.
Great time to get some fucking shut eye.
Yeah, it's a very big thing. Like, it took a long ass time.
Oh yeah.
But it just makes sense to do it along the space elevator since it's a more rigid structure than just...
Well, that, and you can have continuous coverage of it because of where it's at.
Right. And like I said, so it gravity locks, but when it gets to a certain point where it's safe, they kind of dislock and then head over to the drive pod.
Mm-hmm. Well, because once you're out of, what is it? There's a point in time when you get into Atmo that you're not gonna overcome air resistance.
Right.
And at that point in time, it's safe to continue on, but I don't remember where in the atmosphere that is.
Right, yeah, they've got all the math and everything like
Yeah.
that figured out. There's like a pathway between buildings to take it over there. Like, it's planned extremely well.
Oh, absolutely.
And then, of course, once it disengages, the space elevator goes down at a more normal speed.
Oh, my buddy just uploaded a picture to Facebook, and it says, "I have good news and bad news." And it's a picture of a tombstone, and the name on it is Waldo.
Found them.
That's terrible.
I've seen that before.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, so you all get down to the bottom of the SAA. They've got like a path opening for you all, but there's a gathering of people, cheering and stuff like that. And of course, there's like bodyguards to quickly escort Allison ahead of all that.
Say, how's Allison doing throughout all this?
Oh, she's got like noise canceling headphones. Like, she's
just zoned.
They're just like, come with me.
Just go. Don't stay. Don't talk. Just go.
Yeah, sensory deprivation through that, because I mean, for her it's only been 10 hours and everyone's cheering. For everybody else it's been 12 years and they're cheering.
Yeah.
Bit of a difference there.
Wee bit of a difference, yeah. Gotta have the acclimation to, and the realization that time has moved on.
Yeah.
She still needs to grieve and have her process.
Right, absolutely. And the crowd here isn't as big as like the crowd that's following the Mirage coming down to dry dock, because that'll still take a long time. But there are some people like that were there and be like, yeah, let's see Quirk, found the Mirage. But yeah, most of the people are following the Mirage as it's going down to dry dock, taking pictures and whatnot.
I mean, it's not like it's a tiny ass ship.
No, it's one of the, I mean, larger ships can fit, but like it's still not a
tiny
good
ship.
Fit. No. There's some wiggle room, but the Leviathan, Cashin's fist might not be able to fit through. The Leviathan might not be able to fit through there. Like, it's one of those things that are like, Cashin's fist could technically fit. And they're like, what's technically and will?
Well, technically it could, but we'd have to rebuild a couple of buildings.
They're like, technically we could, but there's like a couple of inches of wiggle room.
Just strong breeze one day.
Summer breeze.
Make buildings go.
Yeah. So like, Cashin's fist could make it through, and they probably would retire it through that, but there would definitely be some building evacuation.
Or it would be in a different spot. I could feel like something like Cashin's fist would have its own place.
Yeah, there's other places. This one's a really big pageantry one just because it's like a single ship dry dock and it's so close to the SIA.
Yeah.
Like it's a very much a statement thing whenever they come down that elevator.
I mean, it's a ship that's been missing for 12 years. Makes sense.
Yeah. Cashin's Fist would be one where like that one's been classified for so long. Like,
so what's happening next?
so they do take you all to the SIA and they debrief you. The board does in person. Minus Lila Jensen because you know she's
With her niece?
with her niece, yeah. Being a pretty decent person there.
Being an amazing aunt?
Yeah, she's there for her niece, helping her grieve, process everything. But they kind of debrief you all. They're like, all right, are there any questions you all have for us before we get down to the business?
I mean, the only question I guess I have is, am I going to be filled in about any sort of information about what we find out about what damage, like what caused the damage to the garage?
And this is Dr. Persh speaking to you right now. Dr. Persh says, all right, well, let me ask you a question. What's the main objective of your branch again?
I mean, it's scientific. I'm a research vessel.
Right, but you're in your own branch studying what exactly?
Anomalies?
And this would be considered a time.
Anomaly?
Do you think you'll be involved?
I mean, absolutely, but at the same time, I'm asking because of what the ship is.
You will be. I mean, you'll be taking the Leviathan back to that graveyard and studying any new ships that come in for the next couple of weeks, trying to gather whatever intel, and we'll coordinate that with you. As for what finer details comes out, it really just depends on what we deem is necessary for you, or if we deem it's necessary for a differently outfitted ship.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. That was honestly that's.
Because, I mean, let's be honest, if this is the off shove, we're not sending the Leviathan, we're sending much bigger ships.
Yeah. Well, I guess if the Leviathan, if the off shove can do something like that,
it doesn't seem like off shove though. They were very blatant, and they were just going for. It seemed like they were going for total annihilation. They didn't just sneak on board and murder you.
No, and it like speaking to like what Allison could recall. Didn't I mean? I've only seen the off shove at the one time when we tried to establish communication.
Right, and from what it sounds like is that their armor was not the same.
No. Taking a break here, I want to ask a question outside of character.
Yeah.
They know who Lyson is.
Kind of. Yes, they do. They do. It came out in the trial.
Yeah, but say no, because it had to be brought up because I made sure that Cashin was.
Cashin had a somewhat of a cover story. They know he's incredibly powerful. They don't know that he's God.
Yeah. Because I was wondering if it's worth mentioning something. Because they know
it wasn't blatantly stated, but they got like right here.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't want to allude that Lyson could kill everyone at a.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's almost feels like I should be mentioning the fact that I think
that the Timeless are involved.
The Timeless are involved. Like there's something larger at play here than what we conceivably know of, as far-fetched as it may be, but it needs to be put on the table. And the only people that really should know about this is this board.
Right.
Okay. But
so
stepping back.
Was it blatantly stated no? Do they know yet?
Okay. So there's another thing I want to bring.
They at least know that there are
a higher
deities involved.
So
that's about what they know. There are deities involved. They don't know that he is one of the deities.
So this is gonna come to kind of a surprise, kind of not. I'm pretty sure you have alluded to be able to put 2 and 2 together for this, but Lyson is one of those timeless that we kind of talked about.
Lyson just kind of looks at you and goes, "Yes, we are," and the double voice.
So Lyson, I apologize. I know that's like this is something that you don't really want to like have thrown out and about, but this is something that has the potential to be significantly more than we're potentially capable of dealing with ourselves.
Someone looks at you and says, "We understand your point and your judgment, and we trust your judgments with this. But just keep in mind that once words leave your mouth, they can never go back in."
Correct. So, Dr. Persh and everyone, some of this is going to sound vague, and it is going to purposefully be vague, not because of disrespect, but because the weight the knowledge carries. That makes sense?
Dr. Persh says, "Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We'll try to be as respectful to that as possible, but if we need more information, we'll need more.
If you need more information, absolutely. It's just I don't want to talk to my superior and say it's a need to know basis and you don't need to know, but that's kind of what it is, because it's also your safety at the same time."
Dr. Persh goes, "With the special circumstances, we will try to be as accommodating as possible."
Thank you. So,
you got to think, just because we can know the knowledge of every black site does not mean we do know the knowledge of every black site.
Yes. So, as you're somewhat aware, and now know, Lyson is, for all intents and purposes, a deity. It goes without saying that he's a very, very powerful individual. Very happy he's on our side. I'm not gonna lie. That's one man I don't want to piss off. I digress. But our other deities. And
Lyson says, "We are all in alignment with each other when it comes to goals. Some of our thoughts may vary, but we are in tune with goals, and we tend to respect each other's decisions. And if not, it's not one person opposing, or not one of us opposing another. It's all of us opposing another."
Yeah. So one of the other timeless, from Allison's description of how they acted, how they looked.
Lyson says, "Now, we don't know that they are timeless."
No. Hence, from their description, there's no confirming this, but given the cards that are at play, it's something that at least needs to be tabled, because if we're caught off guard, we're fucked. And that's the best way to say that.
Dr. Perch listens and goes, "Okay, Now, Lysone. And you just go, yes. And you go, now you're in constant communication with the other timeless, correct? And Lysone goes, not constant, but near constant. And they just get discussing, and Lysone basically says, we're still looking through everything because, just like you will probably have a hard time telling me what you ate for dinner last Thursday 3 years ago, we kind of have a hard time remembering right off the bat what happened millennia ago on another side of all existence, like takes time. But the others do not think this was not something that they recently did. This is not something that what they would have done 12 years ago, or 30 years ago, or even 300 years ago. So this is either one that's been touched previously, or it's someone has perversed the rules that we have set.
He said basically what I wanted to say.
So Dr. Perch asks and goes, and do you all have something you're planning on doing about it? And Lysone says, at the moment, we're going to see how you all can handle it.
Yeah, this only reason I brought it up is because what if we can't? What do we do? How do we go forward from there? I mean, I know we're a fairly stubborn species and we'll do what we can and we'll die trying to that fact, but someone still has to have a sound, rational mind.
We tend not to get involved until the moment we decide it's gone too far. Generally, we tend not to get involved until it looks like, don't really know the best way to phrase this. The time limited can no longer handle it.
Would it be safe to assume that you kind of mean the
we try to let mortals handle these things first.
Yeah, basically, like if it's something, and to kind of role play, you have a species that's on the verge of extinction, and due to something that potentially you have done thousands of years ago, if they're unable to do it, you're stepping in to potentially prevent or physically prevent that extinction event from happening.
Correct.
Sound about right?
Correct. We'll let wars be waged, but we'll try and step in. We will step in before it reaches the point of extinction if they're perverting our rules. But we try to let the mortals handle it first.
Yeah.
And stay in the shadows, as it were.
I would assume that if it's found that if it was due to perversion of the rules or someone's physically out, like someone not of you is using your abilities perversely, your proverbial hand will be stepping in much sooner because of the implications.
We wait quite a while for the sheer fact of all of you were created with free will in mind. And all of you all were created with the possibility of change.
Mm-hmm.
We see it as better for things to be solved peacefully than by stepping in and exterminating relentlessly.
Sure.
So, when they're perversing the rules, we take it on a case-by-case basis of how intense is it, and how well prepared do we think the mortals are to be able to handle it themselves. Right now, we feel you all are fairly capable, but it wouldn't be until we see that you all are not that we would step in. As a member of your crew, I will help your crew, but I have my rules that I have set, and I will not break those rules. If it comes to be, if it has not been determined by us that it is time to step in, and the Leviathan and many other ships are lost, unfortunately, that is the way the world goes and the energy flows. But there's definitely evidence that there is some perversion occurring. We would step in before human extinction. Well, before Space Union, all species extinction. Before any of them go extinct.
Yeah.
Now, it would be different if, say, you all were not perverting the rules and you all just decided to go annihilate the shit out of the off shove. Now, if you all perverted the rules and went to go annihilate the shit out of the off shove, then we may step in. As long as you all follow the rules of the universe, we won't step in.
I don't even know how we could what would entitle perverting the rules, and I don't care to find out. But yeah,
well, you're witnessing very strong evidence that someone is perverting the rules, so don't do that.
Yes, but
it's not hard to imagine. If you think you're perverting the rules, you're probably perverting the rules. One of your kind said many, many centuries ago, I don't know how to define pornography, but I know it when I see it.
That's very cool. Yes.
Supreme Court Justice Potter Stewart was asked to describe his test for obscenity in 1964. He responded, I know it when I see it. So it was when Supreme Court Justice was asked to
explain
define obscenity.
Hardcore
define obscenity.
Yeah,
and
what obscene is, yeah.
What obscenity is. And he says, I know it when I see it. Like, that's the thing. You know it when you're doing it. And if you continue to doing it, well, fuck you.
Yeah, that's really the only question I had per se. Just because the implications.
I will assist where appropriate. Even if that eventually comes to calling my brothers. But keep in mind, if I call my brothers, it will not be pretty for you all either.
Yeah.
Once the path of destruction is set, it is set, and it will not be changed. So that is why we try to stay out as long as possible. And Dr. Perch goes, well, okay then. So,
not the thing you thought you were going to hear this morning when you woke up, huh?
He goes, no. So I was basically just told by a god, hey, go kill it, and if you can't, we'll kill it. But if we kill it, you all are gonna kind of die too. Okay. I can't argue with a god.
I mean, you could, but I don't know if you'd get anywhere.
Dr. Birch goes, look, you don't get to a position this high without being in a lower position. You learn when to take the L and just shut the fuck up.
Oh, absolutely.
And this is a time. Don't piss off a god. I think that's in the Bible. So, well,
Cat's out of the bag.
fuck me gently with a chainsaw.
And isn't that the true meaning of Christmas?
Meaning of Christmas.
We have not said that in a long time.
Eat love your way.
Yes, eat love your way. I'm gonna wear my spaghetti and naked shirt. But thrown up a hairball on it. So then it has to be rewired. God, I really want to play Sonic now.
Lyson does say to you and Dr. Perchin goes, if something comes to conversation that we feel is important to share with you all, we will do so in a timely manner. Dr. Perch goes, well, anything else from you, Commander?
Not that I can think of.
Awesome. So, well, time for you all to head back to Bulgaria, I guess. Or, well, outside of Bulgaria to the graveyard.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut it short. Sorry to cut your trip here short, but
no,
you know,
I have things I gotta do, and
missing ships across time are all appearing
yes,
and being slaughtered. Well, we want that. Wow, I hate that I'm about to say this. We want this taken care of in a timely manner.
Actually, I do have one question for you. What did you think of the information that was sent to you in regards to how we made it from the Bulgaria station, basically where we were, to the anomaly in 3 hours? Because I know we submitted that information because it was kind of a feat.
Goes, well, it was one of those, hey, let's find out. I mean, that is kind of your job. It was a little bit reckless, but the math was there behind it. You know,
Greetings of words. Welcome.
words of greetings. Hello. Thank you for joining in, Zen.
Yes, thank you.
You know, it's dumb and reckless because keep in mind that those engines aren't designed to be fired all the time, but in an emergency situation, as long as you all make sure to do constant maintenance on those engines, I don't see why it should be a problem. Just keep in mind, the more you use them, the more wear they have because they're not designed to fire constantly.
Yeah, no, this was I mean, as we were talking about when we got there and assessed what was minor damage, basically calling it the get the fuck out of Dodge car.
It's not a bad option, for sure, but, and you know, you can use it however you would like. Just keep in mind that if you don't properly maintain them when doing that, you might not be able to get off a planet.
Yeah.
You might not be able to safely land on a planet, which was already a maybe anyway.
Yes.
If you want to change it from a maybe to a probably not, be my guest. It is your ship.
No, I guess
you're just not getting another.
My thought process is, okay, if doing that for a ship of that size, take for example Vago, but is there something that could be done as I'm thinking as an extreme last resort to literally run away? That
the Travago doesn't have that capability.
I'm talking about pushing the engines what would be classified as beyond their means.
Right. Because drastic times call for drastic measures. That's not going to change. Just, you know, and it's important to know what your ship can do. Because when you know what your ship can do, you know what it can't do.
Yes.
I'm just airing a word of caution.
Oh yeah, I don't ever want to use that again. It's just really odd that
It's impressive, and the findings will be documented and studied further. But I just wanted to issue a word of caution.
and thank you. I also agree.
But if there's nothing else, I think it's time for you all to continue this investigation.
I'll do. Yes. Can't talk. Sorry.
So from there, what's your plan?
Well, my plan is to get back to the
Syndicate? Leviathan?
well,
Graveyard?
eventually the Syndicate, yes. But first I need to go get back to the Trivago,
Yes.
then get back to Joop Joop.
Yes. So you get on the space elevator. I mean, it's a lot faster trip this time around. What took a few days takes a couple hours.
Hey, you type on that keyboard.
I am. You all get back to the Syndicate, and Captain Elk thanks you for your time and says that she looks forward to reporting you once her ship is fully crewed.
I look forward to hearing about the things you discover, and find any balls of goo. Don't grab them.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. Not a good time when that happens.
So it's a pretty quick goodbye. I mean, you just met this person.
Yep. Rounded up my crew, and then we are
heading back towards the graveyard.
yes.
It's about a 3.5 day journey. 2.5 day, something like that.
Yep. I'm gonna go visit Trimus.
Visit Trimus. He's down in Minkle's lab observing them doing their interdimensional tests.
Hey, Trimus. Feels
Hello.
like it's been a few months since we've talked.
It has been exactly 2 weeks, 7 days, 6 days.
That's 3 weeks, my friend.
It's been 2 weeks, 6 days, 13 hours, and 47 minutes. We last.
Ow. How are you liking your accommodations here on the ship?
I mean, they are acceptable.
Is there anything you would like to have changed?
Math is hard.
Math is very hard. It's amazing, but it's
I
hard.
just said numbers, and the first number that came out for days was 7. I was like, fuck.
It's been 2 weeks, 7 days, so 3 weeks. No, 2 weeks. Shit. Hey, check your posture. Thank you,
Checking
Zen.
my posture.
And drink something. Thank you, Zen.
It's fruit punch. I got a 2-liter of fruit punch today.
Nice. Hawaiian punch?
Oh no, just off-brand.
Ah.
Anyways, he goes, the accommodations are acceptable. See no reason to change them unless they become unacceptable.
Well, if there's any accommodations you'd like to request or anything, just feel free to let me know. I mean, I guess has Trimus provided any insight, or is he more learning from you at this point?
Minkle goes, he makes a very excellent duck.
Oh?
He goes, do you not know about the ducks? Sometimes, when you're working on something, if you ask someone to look over it, you'll immediately realize your mistake. So, if you have a rubber duck, you explain the situation to the duck. A lot of times you'll find the situation. However, this duck talks back. Excellent.
Okay. Awesome. Hey, if it works, it works. That's great.
The other scientists look and go, we talk back to, and she goes, different scenario. You all aren't ducks.
Is it also happen to be because Trimus is incredibly intelligent?
She goes, Trimus is from a completely different advancement pattern. So it's like when you ask someone for help with a 3x3 Rubik's Cube, but they started on a 30x30 Rubik's Cube with 30 sides. Still a Rubik's Cube, just very, very different.
And more complicated? Question mark.
She goes, more complicated, but the algorithms are different.
So it's
if you try to solve a 30x30 with 30 sides Rubik's the same way as a 3x3, you're not going to get very far. Likewise, if you try and solve a 3x3 with a 30x30 by 30 Rubik's, it's not going to work the same. Same goal, same mechanisms, different approach. Very interesting.
Well, I'm glad it's working out for you.
Very much so.
Awesome.
He's been invaluable towards the R&D process.
Have you made any advancements on your portals?
He goes, some. It's still just, it's a very finicky thing doing interdimensional stuff. We're making progress in, our cross-dimensional stuff and having stuff like a probe stay in longer, but it's a matter of keeping it static. And we're also making it more power efficient. It's just solving variables at this point.
What's the likelihood of getting Tiny Reg's keyboard?
I don't know. It still might not actually be possible.
Okay.
I think that would be more of a question for Lyson.
I feel like Lyson could just do it, but he wouldn't.
He goes, could, but yeah, you're right. He knows what we're doing. It's fine.
He
would have said something.
No. He would not have said a damn word, and you know it. He knows exactly the answer to the question, but he
deemed you worthy after we started this project. And he knew the project was going on.
Yes. He deemed me worthy, stating that it was something worth researching. That does not mean he will tell us the answer.
Oh, no, but to make sure that he's not going to smite us. I think we're safe on that regard.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't think we're not trying to, what we're trying to do, we're not trying to perverse the universe. We're trying to make someone's life better by giving them something with some sort of tactile feedback.
Because I feel like this is definitely writing a lie. But I feel the fact that we're using this completely utilitarian rather than militaristic makes a big difference.
Yeah, no, and that's like I don't. Part of me doesn't like. I want it to happen, and I want it to be successful, but I don't want it to be taken militaristic.
You cut out a little bit there at the end.
Oh, I don't like. Part of me wants it to work out, but the other part of me hopes we never achieve the goal. And I don't mean that in any disrespect, but from the stance of we're using it for good per se, and if you could use this for some sort of militaristic stance, which would necessarily be bad, well, then we get the wrath of Lyson on us, and well,
I don't think
Trimus,
it's Lyson's wrath we have to worry about here.
No, but I mean, Trimus is he has firsthand knowledge of the lightning bolt that Lyson made.
Trimus goes, yes, I am very much aware. I'm also aware that he said he would not be doing that again.
Yeah, he did say that was my only one. You are correct. But that's because I digress. I don't want to incur his wrath. Or any of the other ones' wrath, for that matter.
Thomas just says, it's hard to measure how much power you're using when you have an immeasurable amount of power.
Yeah. He that was a big lightning bolt. We could not see for a hot minute after that. It was very, very bright.
He goes, indeed.
I genuinely think he could put the power output of this ship to shame.
I don't think that these are questions we should be asking. Although, there's nothing wrong with asking questions. As long as you don't find the answers the wrong way.
I would say I don't know if I want to know the answer either, because that's plausible deniability. We can just leave it as a unanswered question, and that's okay.
That's probably the wisest idea. If you don't know how to approach an answer, chances are you'll cross a line getting to it.
And no, I don't know. No. Oh,
Trimus looks at you and he says, those ships are disturbing to me.
which ships are the ones that are the ones we're going to investigate?
Affirmative.
What's disturbing to you about them?
It's not right.
I mean, yeah, attacking ships, or do you mean just the whole thing of it, where they're just being catapulted in time to a specific time and location, and compounding that, why now?
Because that's what doesn't feel right. That it's all happening.
Yeah, like these things have happened in the past or in the future, which we're still not totally aware of yet. I mean, we didn't really investigate anything other than
known missing ships.
Yeah, but we don't know if some of these ships are from the future.
So far, they've all been documented missing ships.
Yes, but we also can't rule out the plausibility that if they're sending ships in time forward, we already
that
know
they could send ships back.
Yeah, we already know that that's plausible because of how light works. We know that time travel is real.
Goes. It's a very intriguing situation.
With that being said, would you like to come as a boarding party to kind of investigate? Because, I mean, that's what we're going to do right now.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Would you like to be part of the boarding party to kind of investigate these? I mean, at the end of the day, you don't breathe.
Goes. Correct, I do not breathe, but at the same time, when you're designed for one purpose, perhaps putting yourself in a situation for that purpose when it would be overkill is not the wisest decision.
Sure. The thing is we don't, since there's ships coming in, my thought is, what if there's a life form on board? What if that life form is hostile?
He goes, I understand, but you shouldn't attack a foe of equal size with something meant to take down a country.
Sure. I understand the reasoning.
He goes, granted, I do not have my entire form here, but
You're still
I will
incredibly
consider.
formidable.
I will consider it. Just know that I don't think it would be the wisest decision to put me on a derelict ship.
Okay.
For combat situations.
I'm not necessarily expecting a combat situation. It's just more of seeing the damage done to the ship, your insight as for lack of a better way to put it, a being explicitly built for the eradication of a species.
Correct.
Your insight into anything,
and talking out of character for a moment, that's a good example of when the Timeless get involved. They got involved when that was the last resort. They were going to use that weapon, so then they made the Centrus. Helped make the Centrus.
Ooh, huh? Are you leaking plot information here?
You know that they're touched by the Timeless, but
yes, we don't know by who or when or anything of that nature, or if potentially Mother was timeless.
This is true. We don't know if Mother was timeless.
Only you do.
I do know.
Just say, I do. That would be fun. I do not know. Wait a minute.
I do know. I just may not know right now.
Future me will know.
That's a problem for future me to worry about.
Present
when
Sibs, not
point.
a fucking clue.
I have some ideas.
I mean, you can genuinely spin that a couple of ways.
That's the thing with the story is it kind of rewrites itself each episode.
Yes, your ability to plan ahead. I'm really good at thwarting those inadvertently.
I'm really good at recovering, I feel like.
You've been forced to, yes. You've been forced to learn, which I guess, as the whole premise of this is being your first DMing experience.
My first long term for sure.
Yeah,
it is. The past sessions I've ran have been at most 5 sessions.
Yeah, so it's a great learning tool for you, because as a long-term player or a long-term DM, you do have to deal with shit like that of like, oh, hey, you encounter a dragon. Hey, I can control water, right? Yeah, and I can do anything I want with water? Yeah. Oh, that being's made of 70% water. Boil.
Yeah.
And then you're just fuck.
Yeah. Which there are systems in place for that, like the red, blue, purple.
Yes.
Anyways, moving forward. So yeah.
Yeah.
Talk with Trimus, and he goes, I can come along if you would like, but I would prefer to stay in a non-combative.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong, I would love to have you
Mostly because, and I know we barely touched that ship, but an impenetrable space station is very different than an already structurally unsafe and compromised derelict ship that's been, who knows when this happened or what technology brought it.
My only thought, other than the fact of potential, at the end of the day, you could crush someone.
For sure. I do not want to end up in a situation where me going after an adversary puts everyone else in danger.
Absolutely, and that I wholeheartedly respect.
I was designed for an impenetrable situation. These were very much penetrated.
Yes. I'm more wanting... yeah. I'm more your analytical thought process and your ability to communicate with the other Centrus. could be invaluable resources when it comes to.
Your microphone's fluctuating a bit. You want
Which
to
is
turn
weird.
up the gain a bit?
Yeah. My thought process is that your combat knowledge and your ability to literally genuinely your ability to think, your ability to process information and analyze something is an invaluable asset that I feel for this explicit thing. That's what I'm wanting you for. Not necessarily, oh, hey, there's a thing to go kill it. No, I mean, that's Lyson, myself, there's plenty, we have plenty of firepower to be able to accomplish that. But genuinely, your brain is my thought.
Understood. I will join you if that is the case.
Thank you. And I will also tell you to then stay at the back, just to make sure your wishes are also kept within mind.
Affirmative.
Awesome. Well, I have other rounds to make. I really just wanted to stop by and say hi and check in with you guys. I will leave you to it and talk to you later.
Until we meet again, Captain.
So yeah, I walk away.
So where are you going next?
I am. Let's go check on Jensen, see how much he thinks of the new ship.
Logistics officer. Okay. You go down to the logistics warehouse, and both Jensen and Fisher are there, still operating in their same capacities as chief and second.
Mm-hmm.
And still doing the double office.
Just move to the copy pasta their office.
It's much nicer, much more advanced, but they do have the same office where they,
slide window.
Hey, what you got?
Hey, don't fix it if it's not broken, I guess.
Exactly. But yeah, they do kind of have the double office. It's not separated anymore like it was on the other ship. That was just kind of due to the pre-limitations, but two sides, same office, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Two offices, same room, I guess.
Good evening, guys. How's it going?
Jensen looks up at you and she goes, "Oh, hi, Commander. What can we do for you? What brings you down here?"
Honestly, just checking in. Wanted to see what you think of the giant ass ship we got.
She goes, "In all honesty, if I didn't have, I just saw Fisher here. I don't know if we could handle this without each other."
It's a big ship. The guy don't. That's.
She goes, "It's very." She goes, "If I hadn't worked with Fisher and gotten used to working so closely with someone like that, it might have been harder to, because it's structured differently. Rather than being structured as a department, it's structured like a whole company, roughly."
I mean, yeah, we're the size of a small town.
Yeah, she goes, "Even running on bare bones crew, it's a lot."
Yeah.
When you multiply your crew size by, what was it?
A lot. Multiply them by yes.
Hold on, calculator. 22,000 divided by 7. No, it was 1,100, right?
Oh yeah, it was at 1,100. Yes.
By 20 times. She goes, getting 20 times the crew overnight is a lot.
Yeah.
And knowing that we'll expand another 10 times beyond this, eventually, it's a lot.
It makes your mind melt.
She goes, "I'm so glad that they put us on bare bones crew to start off with, because going straight from 1,100 to 220,000. Would have been a logistics nightmare.
220? You mean 22,000?
We have a max crew size of 220,000.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, my bad.
Roughly.
Yeah.
Roughly, depending on how we retrofit some of these other rooms.
Yeah.
Anywhere between 200 to 300,000 people can fit on this ship. So I'm glad we went from 1,100 to 22,000, not 1,100 to 220.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. I mean, like, it's at the end of the day, for me, they're just people, but a lot of people.
A lot of people, especially when you have a reputation of getting to know everyone.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Kind of I kind of shot myself in the foot there.
She says, you took on a lot, but you were also given a lot, you know. You've conversed with people during meals and stuff like that, and remained very approachable.
One of the things
I think they understand that it's gonna be a lot harder to learn everyone's name with a crew this size. Thank God for name badges, right?
Oh boy, you got it. So I mean, you have new of everything and then some when it comes to ship, but is everything up to your guys' standards?
Fisher and Jensen kind of look at each other and they go, logistically, it's a nightmare. We placed everything initially, but now we're trying to optimize that because we were kind of like best guess. Like, I don't know, I guess put it there. That's where it was in the old ship, but the logistics don't work the same when you scale up like this. We're making it work. We're just working on figuring out the best way to do this for this size ship. It's slow going, but we're making progress.
So
we've been researching over other research vessels and other dreadnoughts and looking at how they organize things to try and meld the two together. But this is the largest research vessel in history, so new territory.
I know this is gonna sound ridiculous, but it may be worth talking to Trimus about.
Interesting.
The reason why I say that is because the Trimus is like Tetris on steroids.
Oh yes, we've been consulting with the Ghost a lot, but we'll be sure to try and bring Trimus into the loop with it as well.
Because yeah, like it was like.
But oh, go ahead.
Seeing firsthand them like expand and contract to fit in areas, I don't know how that's gonna figure at logistically to help you guys, but I mean, like, the Primus isn't small by any stretch of the imagination, but he was part of the rest of him. It's around 90% that he left behind.
Understood.
Thing was massive.
Oh,
so
for sure.
It was like Tetris, but apologies. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the Ghost has been analyzing a lot of other dreadnoughts and larger research vessels, logistics systems, and feeding us important information so that we can try and marry those two concepts in a very organic way.
Yeah.
For this ship, because even if we got another ship the exact same size, when you get another crew, things will run differently.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to tune the logistics to the crew rather than the size.
100%. And I mean, at the end of the day, you're setting precedent for anything moving forward, because in all likelihood, they might build another Dreadnought class research vessel.
Absolutely.
And if you have the kinks worked out.
If you've got a great baseline, it makes it easier to adapt. which is
Yes.
why everything's going fine. It's still a mess and a lot of headaches and paperwork and doing a lot of math and reconfiguring, but we had a solid baseline when we did the expansion on the Trivago. And so with that in mind, with how much space we have here, it's helping pre-plan. But it's still a matter of, oh shit, yeah, no, that's a bad place for that.
Mm-hmm. And it's nice walking in here and not having my head chopped off.
He goes, maybe don't go out onto the actual warehouse floor then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's nice to be, I mean, it's got to be somewhat weird to be disassociated from that a little bit.
He goes, I mean, it's a little more closed off than the previous one, but we still do semi-regular floor checks and floor walks to make sure, okay, it made sense on paper. Does it make sense in reality?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean, Fisher here has been also, going in and helping with the lifters and things like that. Because, you lose a little bit of touch when you stay in the office forever.
Oh, yeah. If it's one of those, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it sort of thing.
Absolutely. And so Fisher has always maintained a good hybrid of floor work versus in the office.
Awesome. Good job,
And
Fisher.
I've been getting more involved with that too. Just not to the same capacity.
Understandably so.
There's a difference in having super strength and not having an ability.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, just really wanted to. It's been what? A long time since I've come and checked base on you guys. And really just wanted to see if there was anything that needed to be done, if there were any issues or concerns that you guys had.
Oh, none that we can think of, but if we have any, we'll definitely forward it up through the proper chains. But feel free to stop by anytime. We understand you've got a lot on your plate. That's why we're here. Figure this stuff out.
That's what we pay you for, right?
You get paid? What's money?
Food?
Everyone gets food.
I don't know.
You've got a reputation to build. That's what we build our reputation on.
True. I mean, I did just bring back a missing cruise vessel. So there's
Great
that.
job on that, by the way.
Thank you.
Great job on that, by the way. Kept us really busy.
Yeah, that's that must have been.
We had to do a lot of reorganizing because we didn't factor in the dry dock.
Yeah, I was curious on how that played out with you guys because we didn't have that capability before, and now we have the ability to repair ships from this ship.
Yeah, it went from the standardized, shipbuilding materials being closer to the hangar to being like the fighter hangar to being closer to the middle, so that if it needs to go to, it takes a little bit longer to go to the hangar, but it doesn't take as long when it needs to go to the dry dock.
Mm-hmm. And the likelihood, knock on wood,
and it is
here,
still closer to the hangar.
Yeah,
The fighter hangar.
the likelihood of us having to churn out fighters, knock on wood here, hoping that we're not going to have to readily rely on them.
Oh, hopefully not. But we're trying to find a nice organic balance between, all right, what's the right distance between the dry dock and the fighter?
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't want to choke off the fighter bay if we're going to be needing it a lot, but we also want to choke off the dry dock if we're going to need to be needing that more.
Absolutely.
So just finding that nice balance.
And that'll come in time. Trial and
It will.
error, figuring stuff out. As you just said, going down and walking and seeing, yeah, this don't work.
Yeah.
It's gotta.
It,
It's gotta change.
yeah, paper and reality, two very different things.
Well, I will leave you guys to it.
Thank you, Commander. And have a pleasant day.
You too.
All right, where are you going next?
Let's go find Lyson.
Lyson? Lyson's kind of just. He's actually in the sub VTF right now.
What's Lyson doing in the sub VTF?
He's just piecing out, watching like nature in the sub VTF.
Walk in. Never thought Timeless would be sitting and enjoying nature.
Well, you know, when you watch all of existence, it's easy to forget the beginnings and how beautiful things were.
Yeah, it is. Like, where is this?
Because this is actually, well, one, technically not solution. You look around and like the panel for the sub VTF is off.
What?
It felt like an appropriate place to reminisce. It's the glue that holds dimensions together. Are you really surprised that he can pull up memories like a sub VTF?
I mean, I guess he's really just interface.
He's kind of interfacing with it, but yeah, no, the sub VTF's actually off.
I understand how. Like, thinking about how this is happening, how what you're, but how?
When you can bend time and space, anything is possible. But you might be interested to know that you are the only living person to ever see the surface of this planet.
Oh. Does the planet still exist?
Nope.
How long ago did it die?
This is the planet that you could say I was born on.
Oh. So this is like early stages of the universe?
Of that universe, sure. Early and the end. All at the same time.
Well, it's absolutely gorgeous.
It sure was. It sure was.
Honestly wanted to apologize for kind of putting you on the spot in front of SIA there, because I really didn't get the time to kind of talk to you about whether or not to say anything. It was more of a
I understand where you came from. Your loyalties lie to your species, to your society, and everything like that. I understand. I'm not angry with you.
Thank you.
We do not want too much knowledge of us coming out because there's a lot of interference. We try to keep interference as minimal as possible. Granted, this is a new experience for me, so I'm a little more hands-on than I would have been. But I understand why you did it. You can never predict how a mortal mind will react in the face of limitless power. Will they respect it? Will they try and take it for themselves?
And yes, I do feel that current board of the SIA, I don't think that they're going to try. Mainly
I don't think they will either. The bigger thing is, for every person that knows the power exists, the chances infinitely increase for someone to try and take it for themselves.
Absolutely. And I think this is the caveat to that, is that you're not just yourself.
No, we are not. And that's
So,
said in the double voice.
yeah. So it's a Alamar kind of can help potentially starve that off because you guys coexist. So it's harder at that point in time for someone to perverse you, to coerce you into doing something that you may think is the correct thing to do, when in reality they're taking advantage of you.
Very much so. It's very nice to know that my host's thoughts and intentions are good.
Yeah, I have come to respect Alamar and inherently trust that man, and well, by definition, you clearly with my life.
Absolutely. And we are more than happy to serve on your crew.
Yep. Genuinely though, thank you for sharing this experience. This is something I'm never going to forget. This is insanely beautiful and tranquil.
This was one of the last days before the destruction.
Oh. But can I know how it was destroyed?
Planet, the universe, and everything was destroyed so that the current universe and everything could exist.
Oh.
It wasn't...
Breaking character for just a second. The music for this is perfect, by the way.
Right? I know. Because he knew not what he was doing.
I'm assuming he is in reference to
one of the other timeless.
Yeah.
He is the reason why the rules are so rigid.
Okay.
We don't want to see bravado and ego causing the destruction of everything again. Even if the intentions were pure.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes sense. So from my understanding of that, then this universe where this planet, your memory existed, that universe stopped existing, and this current universe came into fruition, which would then be the Big Bang? Essentially,
yes. The ones of us that were left, we helped piece back together in the universe. That universe does technically exist. Remember when I said I was the glue between dimensions?
Yes.
That's the other side of the page.
I know it's not.
It's still there. There's still life there, but it is not the same that it was before.
Well, I know that I'll never get the chance to step foot onto that planet, but if there was ever somehow the capability to do so, it would be a pleasure to see this planet with my own eyes.
I'm afraid this is as close as you're gonna get, my friend.
I'm okay with that.
It's the closest I'll ever get. It is but a distant memory.
Distant
From before time began. This
say distant. That's millennia upon millennia ago. That's so actually
more than millennia.
Eons.
It is when time ended and began again. This is from the previous time.
Yes.
The
So,
before times.
what did you think of kind of a pick your brain moment sort of thing? What did you think of dinosaurs?
They were interesting.
I know that they went extinct.
Mm-hmm.
Did they ever seem to be on the path of, I don't want to say the enlightenment sounds stupid, but it's sentience?
It was always a possibility, but unfortunately a possibility.
What? You cut out right at the end.
Sorry. It was always a possibility, but unfortunately a possibility will never.
So are you saying you killed off the dinosaurs?
We did not interfere with that.
That just happened to be a random happens chance?
The universe is a very complex and moving piece.
I mean, yeah.
Like I said, as long as the rules aren't being perverted, we tend not to step in.
Makes sense.
The universe as it is did its thing. And things did survive.
Said no.
You've got chickens.
Chicken's so good.
So.
Oh, yeah. So, how are you taking to, I guess, consuming food? That is, I mean, because I don't know.
It's very interesting.
I'm assuming you didn't eat before.
Not since here. The timeless weren't always timeless.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Before becoming the quote-unquote timeless. Yes, but...
Right. Since this universe started, I have not... That is correct. Until becoming one with Alamar.
What's your favorite food so far?
Good question. You know, there's something just so comforting about a nice grilled cheese. It's so simple, but it's something so different than what it starts out as. Which all food is. But
good grilled cheese is a grilled good cheese. I mean, that's...
A grilled good cheese is a grilled good cheese.
good. Yes. A good grilled cheese is... It's a mood changer. It just makes you... Put you in a different, like, mindset.
It's just... You get so much out of so few ingredients.
Yes. May I make a recommendation for you to try with your next grilled cheese?
You may.
Add an egg.
Add an egg.
Yes.
Interesting.
So like a
fried egg.
Yeah, like a fried egg. Still runny though. The yolk.
Mm-hmm.
You're still gonna get the cheese and the creaminess, but you're gonna get that umami creamy egg taste as well.
Interesting. I will have to try this.
Let me know what you think.
Will do. So tell me, Captain, what else brings you here?
Honestly, just wanted to. I was curious where I'm making rounds because I really haven't been able to like talk to anyone because it's been all action and no like on time. And I really haven't been able to just check in on everyone and see what they think of the new ship and how their quarters are treating them and if there's anything that they're needing changed.
Absolutely. A good question. I've seen a lot of ships in my day, and this one is certainly unique.
Oh?
Well, I mean, every society has their unique ships, or their unique styling and their unique technologies.
Yeah.
And so this one being state of the art, obviously it's going to be unique, but just very interesting. It's one of the few ships that I've seen made with accommodations for an individual taken into mind.
Oh, huge reg.
Yes, huge reg.
He's a character. That man is
very unfortunate what happened to him.
What do you mean?
The magic sickness.
Sickness?
That's why he grows at the rate he does. Have you not noticed that the other people with the same abilities as him do not grow at the same rate? Being exposed to the Lysom, being touched by the Lysom, if the body takes on more than it can handle without being lethal, it will lead to a form of magic sickness.
So, are you saying that sorry?
It's generally a give and take. You gain some things, but there's downsides. One of his downsides is he's absolutely gigantic compared to everyone else in the species.
Jesus,
You're
not wrong.
The pros are that he has exceptional strength, and because of his walks in life prior to the magic sickness, he's able to maintain a remarkable degree of precision despite the strength behind it.
Yeah. Is it now that you call it a sickness, is it something that cured or is he SOL?
There are means to curing magic sickness, but every case of magic sickness is different.
I feel like it's something that we should have a discussion with him.
Oh, you cut out there. You might need to turn up like your Discord audio pickup level.
Yeah, let me go. Where are you?
Granted, he's not the only one with magic sickness. He's just has the most severe degree of magic sickness.
Who else does?
Oh, there's a handful of them. Some of them, it's just as simple as now they have a new allergy. Some of them, it's as much as, their joints don't move the same way, or their abilities act a bit more sporadic. It's different case by case and unique to the individual.
But huge Regis is kind of
the worst case of magic sickness of anyone with the touch.
What would happen if we were to cure his magic sickness? Would his abilities go away, or would he just stop growing, or do you not know?
It's one of those things. There are several different outcomes. It could stop his growth and keep him at the point that he's at now. It could revert his growth and put him back at his original size and be more dense. He'd still have the mass, but not the height.
Oh god, he'd be like a neutron fucking star.
When it gets reversed, it could fully reverse, and it could just take him back until he no longer exists. The possibilities are endless there. It could just take away his powers, but he continues to grow. But with that, you know, the powers that he has keep them somewhat in check, but it could make him grow even more sporadically. It could take away the power but leave the growing effect, taking away the stability. Whereas, you know, normally someone of that size, you know, would not be able to continue to live.
No.
The body would eat itself and self-destruct and crush itself under its own weight.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like it's something that still needs to be discussed with him, because he should be made aware of his options.
Absolutely. He should have full say in what happens. Unfortunately, part of it is the whole say in what happens is, do you want to keep going the path that you're on now and that you're aware of? Or do you want to roll the dice?
Yeah.
And risk everything. It's a complicated question. I've debated telling him many times.
No, I'll tell him. I feel like I can discuss that with him without it coming off badly. No offense to you, since you're literally and figuratively a god, per se.
Right. While not a being, chaos is a timeless.
Yeah. And it has the potential, and I doubt he would ever look at this way, but it has the potential to be taken wrong.
It does.
Like you're trying to coerce him to remove his powers. Whereas
I am not.
No. I know you're not. But it could be taken that way because of who you are.
And keep in mind, curing his magic sickness may not only affect him.
I mean, yeah, that could affect Tiny Reg too.
Him and the ghost are soulbound. If it started to reverse to the point where he went out of existence, then
with Tiny Reg
existence, there's a, well, not necessarily. Like I said, it's an unknown.
Yeah,
it's chaos. Tiny Reg can manifest into a normal being when Huge Reg disappears.
And Tiny Reg just hearing this entire conversation right now.
He is. I'm assuming.
Are you there? Are you there, Tiny Reg?
Tiny Reg goes, yes, I am listening.
Thought. What's your input? Talking about your brother here. Well, and you.
I think it is too risky for him to undergo a cure, but that is also his choice. And he does have the right to know.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially being a doctor.
Yeah,
being a doctor, he knows about the odds of medical procedures.
Yeah, of all the people in the universe to ever have a discussion with about the odds, I don't think you could pick a better individual to talk about a potential medical procedure with him.
My son just kind of goes, two other people come to mind, but one of them doesn't really count it.
Are they people I know?
I would hope so. We're standing right in front of you.
Oh, okay, yes. You, of course, Lyson, being who you are.
Well, I wasn't referring to me. I was referring to him, Alamar.
Oh,
I have his memories. I remember what he was willing to do for the greater good.
Yeah?
The other I would say is Minkle.
She's
her determination of survivability
is commendable and downright scary.
It's impressive, to say the least.
Yeah. I'm still can't believe she was on that planet.
I can't either.
And I don't. Okay.
I hate to interrupt you, but this is the final sunset, and I would like to watch it.
Okay. I will leave you be.
You're more than welcome to watch.
Oh. Okay. I have one. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, go ahead.
Speaking of Minkle, was there any input on keeping her alive on the planet, or did she do that all of her own volition?
She did that of her own volition.
She was nuts. Okay. Thank you.
Now, Alamar and Huge Reg and Pact Cards landing. And they're safe. Like, more specifically with Huge Reg, because he was holding the other two. He was looked after on that.
Oh?
We did not guarantee his survival.
You just...
We did increase the odds.
How? If I can even ask, how would you do something?
We, I guess I should say we recognize that creating life like that is borderline perverse, but to create life like that specifically to be a weapon is incredibly perverse.
And since he's a doctor, it kind of...
No, I was referring to Sproles creating life in
Oh,
Alamar and creating him to be a weapon.
I
Was
see.
perverse. So we did not see Huge Reg and the others there in trying to protect each other. We did not see that as something that should have the normal odds of survival.
Okay.
There are so many things that can go wrong when falling to a planet. You can burn to death. You can be impaled on trees.
Yeah, the fact that you guys landed, like they landed
In a forest.
In a forest on / near a body of shallow water that didn't do anything, but we just kind of attributed it to the fact that Huge Reg is a brick fucking shithouse.
Oh, he absolutely is. It's his abilities that saved him more than anything. But variables can be tweaked.
Neat. Okay.
When the timing is right. And I would not discount the possibility that doing that is what led my connection here to being so strong to be able to fuse with Alamar.
That makes sense. Because of, again, things that have transpired.
These anomalies generally appear when something changes behind the scenes. And when we go back and we fix it and pull them away, but generally when they get left behind, it means something was happening in the back. Notice how there have been less anomalies of the same sort of the Lysone, the touch of the Lysone, because again, Lysone is both the energy and him.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard.
Him, Lysone, the object, not the person.
Yes. Existing as the entity that is the glue versus Lysone as being in front of me.
Yes. You know, if it wasn't for the unique circumstances of Alamar, we may not have been able to fuse, and it more than likely would have killed any other member of it.
You know, that's something that we kind of thought that it was a contributing factor was that Alamar wasn't flesh and blood. That had a huge factor to play in that.
Absolutely. But the consciousness is what made it so interesting. Because as you know, when we fused, we became flesh.
Yes, I remember you
Still
showing me.
mechanical. But a weird fusion.
Yeah, you're synthetic, but also not.
Exactly. Depending on what test you run, will either show up as a robot or a human.
Yeah, because I can remember you cutting your hand and your palm and showing me that you bleed.
Yes. But if you go to try and do an MRI on me, I'll stick to it like a magnet.
It'll rip. Yeah, you won't. Yeah, you won't. Yeah, yeah.
Oh no, I'll still be together. It's fine. But also, you don't use MRIs.
Wait, what's an MRI?
You would be familiar.
Okay.
Outdated technologies.
Okay.
It's like the Hindenburg. Some things just don't go away.
Oh, the humanity. Oh, the. Oh, wow. You were not kidding. This sunset is absolutely gorgeous.
Don't blink or you'll miss it. And then the sun's about half set, and then everything goes bright, and there's just like glimpses here and there, like different things. And then it all goes away.
That's blah.
That's when it happened.
Ow. That's. Hmm.
You just saw what I saw at the end of days.
So then, how did you go
Survive?
from? Yeah, how did you go from that to this?
All of us were just normal people. Then, when everything happened, the ones that were left weren't people anymore.
You just turned into the timeless?
I don't want to get into the details of the event, but basically, one of the other timeless did something that he thought was doing right, and it broke the universe.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not necessarily wanting specific. I'm assuming you were human, or I guess humanoid, and then you became timeless. It's just and again, that's potentially because of what happened, or is because of what happened, and it's just how were you chosen? Was it at random? Like,
We have no clue how or why. The only one that we for sure know the how or why is the one who caused it.
and that makes sense.
Everyone else was in somewhat close proximity, but people were closer and people were farther than others, and most of them perished.
That's just crazy.
People talk about ascending to the heavens as if it's this peaceful, glorious, harmonic thing, but not all ascendancy is pretty.
Yeah.
Not all ascendancy is planned.
Literally living proof that it wasn't planned. So yeah.
None of us know for sure why, None of us really know how. We can only piece together what strings of memories we have from it, and you saw what I remember from it, which is Jack.
Yeah, just a gorgeous planet and a phenomenal sunset.
Then nothing. Pieces in between.
It's crazy. Thank you for sharing that. That's crazy.
You're welcome. Maybe someday we can talk about it again.
I'm here if you ever want to.
Absolutely. And, you know, of course, like I said, the whole thing's off. You're just in the empty sub VTF now.
I mean, I know you have the ability to control everything because of the fact, but just the fact that you just did it. Just...
Recreating memories is easier than other things.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe someday I'll remember more.
Or maybe something you could learn more.
Exactly. The learning never stops just because you never die. We make mistakes. We're not perfect. We just try and do the best we can.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, I thank you for the time. I will leave you be to go do what you need to do. I'm actually gonna go well, since we're in the Huge Reg area, I'm gonna go waltz on over to Huge Reg and go touch base with him.
Absolutely. I think I'm gonna go get a meal.
Awesome. Telling you, egg. You're gonna love it.
I'll think about it. Tonight might not be the night for grilled cheese.
It's always ramen. Ramen's yummy.
Ramen is yummy. Correct. And he just kind of says, "Well, until we meet again, Commander." And then starts walking towards the mess hall.
I feel like that's a great place to stop it.
It's not a bad place, not at all.
Oh.
So, thoughts? Concerns?
Thoughts? Jesus fuck, that was a lot of information to take in. Concerns? Not necessarily. No concerns.
I feel like I let you do things pretty freely there.
Yeah.
Fairly freely. Oh. So what do you think about this time-shifting ship graveyard now that you've had another
I still think
session with it?
there's a timelesser involved somehow.
You think so?
In not necessarily that they're involved. Like, I don't think they're actively doing it.
Gotcha.
I think something that happened in the past that went rogue or was unchecked is rearing its head up, and someone, so there's another entity at play.
Oh. More than likely.
And it's the one reversing the timeless's powers.
Oh yeah. But yeah, some answers for the questions of this season may not be revealed until next season. But you all will have to stay tuned, and Bones, you'll have to keep playing in order to find out. I'm really liking this season finale arc so far. It's gonna last a while, probably till the end of the year.
We want to raid Bomb Squad?
Let's raid Bomb Squad. We haven't raided them in a while. We haven't done did the raid in a while.
They done did the mine of crafts. Raid bumps squads. So don't forget to grab your
raid message.
Your raid of messages.
Have you found the message, or do you want me to look for it?
I already got it. Brandon, grab it with Leonardo DiSasio if you have it. If you do not,
thanks, Twitch.
Yeah. Just grab everything else. That's raid your kitchen, raid your bedroom. And let's go, of course, let's go show them some love. And as always, abide by their rules.
Absolutely.
We appreciate yous. And Hunt, hi and bye.
Hi, Hunt.
Came to lurk, but we leaving. We are leaving. Hello and goodbye.
Hello and goodbye.
Yes.
Show Bomb Squad love. Make sure to follow all their rules. And until next time, stay saucy.
Say bye, Sibs.
Bye, Sibs. So out of game, some of those questions I can't fully answer until things go a bit more public.